obviously, you've been into one of those crisis situations, which is, I would say, like with the highest stake possible, right? Because not just revenue, reputation, but humans' lives are at stake, and you have dealt with that. And based on that experience, how do you like normally transfer that knowledge and your experience into training programs, like in terms of the way you deliver frameworks, right? How do you like make sure that your attendees get that knowledge transfer from you? Because this is something that I believe they cannot get it online.
Yeah, so I have a mind map that has every tiny event
Okay.
in this whole crisis management program, which covers families, press, government stakeholders, internal stakeholders, external stakeholders. So everything is there. And from each one of these areas in the mind map, there's a lesson learned, which a lot of people would not know unless they've been through a crisis.
Yeah.
So by telling the story, I bring out the lesson learned. Right? I will tell the story and I'll say, what do you think you would do in this situation? For example, with this family member or whatever it is. And they would all give back their feedback. And then I will tell them what we did and how we handled it and what's the right way to do it.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So there are a lot of lessons learned from this entire story, right? And then I will bring that lesson learned. Okay, now in your industry, let's say the LRT industry, right? If that happened, two trains collide, and there's injury, and the family members are calling you and they're making some ruckus, how would you handle it? Based on this, based on what you've learned now, right?
How do you apply it to your specific
area?
Industry area? Okay.
What can you go back and do? How can you improve your SOP, your manuals, to be better prepared?
So that's the drills that you were talking about,
Yeah.
that you need to practice and drill.
Yes.
To be ready before even crisis
Yeah.
hits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't.
Right.
I don't think organizations do drills.
Mm.
I think they have some plan,
Take
And-
manuals.
take manuals, which nobody reads, and when it happens, they are just winging it. So the drills are very important. Sometimes I wonder if people drills for train collisions. Sometimes I wonder whether people drill for building collapses. I wonder whether people drill for, let's say, they have an online app to book tickets, right? That collapses or that gets hacked,
Yeah.
or suddenly you lose data of your 3,000, 5,000 patients from the hospital.
How do you prepare for
How
that?
do you prepare for that? Have you drilled it?
How does it work, David, when a client engages you for consultancy or training? I'm guessing you first study the operation of that company, what industry it is, what they do, and so on. And do you identify or suggest to them crisis potentially could happen in these areas, or they will tell you their guesses?
Okay, so if I normally do my homework.
Okay.
And one of the things that I'll write on the board is what if?
What if?
What if, right? And I drill this to the people in the classroom. Have this mentality of what if this happens? What if this happens? So before I go into the training program, I already have their risk register ready, their proposed action plans ready, and it's not theory, it's a very practical based classroom. I will say, do you have a risk register? No? Okay, here's one. For your industry. It will even have the name of the company on it. Okay, and everybody will be sitting up. Can we have a copy of that?
That's nice.
You know, but if it's a 1 day program, yeah, I will do that. But if it's a workshop kind of thing, then I will make them think.
Yeah.
You know, I'll make them think. If it's that company, I'll make sure they don't just bring in their directors or managers. They have to bring guys who are on the ground as well.
Yes.
Because those guys, they have a lot of in their head. They know, they're seeing the risk every day.
The practical knowledge.
Yeah. So everybody has to be in
ground.
the room, the whole range. And then workshop, brainstorm, come up with the risk register and then compare with mine and see whether you missed anything.
Wow.
Most important thing is to build a culture of preparedness. You know, they have to start thinking safety, reputation, revenue in their heads whenever they're doing something.
Very good. It's good that you bring it up, David. So let's say for those CEOs and leaders who are watching us, watching this program and listening to your talk, what is the one thing that they should and they must know about crisis before actually a crisis happens? Is there a one important thing?
Prepare.
One
Preparedness.
word.
If you don't prepare, be prepared to fail.
Okay.
Nice.
All right. As harsh as it sounds like, but I believe it is equally true.
Prepare. You build up an organization. Doesn't matter how big, you know. You spend so much of time and effort in all your management committee meetings and looking at revenue. All that can go down completely.
Wow.
You know, all that can go down very fast. And you know, a lot of organizations say, okay, when it happens, we'll just hire an external consultant to handle it. It's your organization. Are you going to leave it in the hands of somebody else?
Good point again, David. And you know, you've been in industry as a crisis management expert for a few decades already, right? And obviously, you have seen organizations that thrive at the face of crisis and organizations that fall apart literally. But what do you see is the key difference between these two organizations from your own experience?
So, I come from an oil and gas background. And if you look at the oil and gas background, you cannot afford to have a crisis. I mean, pollutions can be massive, explosions can take lives, reputation can be lost, you know, and the oil and gas industry is very, very particular about risk assessment, risk management, crisis management, business continuity. I think the standard is very high. And they go through this all the time. And they report to the board of directors how the risk changes over time, how the crisis plan needs to change, how the business continuity needs to change. We are prepared. Those companies that don't do this are not prepared. And then when it hits, they don't know where to start. So the most important thing in any organization is to be prepared for. People always say, "Oh, it won't happen to me."
That's what everyone says,
That's
right?
what everyone says. It won't happen to me. You know, we also believe that at that time, who would kidnap the whole ship and take it to Somalia and keep it there for 43 days?
Yet
We
it
also-
happened.
Yet it happened, right? Yeah, and I can also tell you that when it happened, like I said, we were prepared, right? We had a scenario in our risk of kidnap. And when it happened, we opened up the manual and said, okay, what's our SOP for this? Okay, we are not trained. We have to call in the police and hand it over to them.
Wow.
So on the second day or third day, we had the police, the Navy, and all in the room and said, look, our SOP for kidnap is to pass it to you because it's not our area. We can handle fires, we can handle collision, we can handle groundings. So what do we do now? We asked them. They said, our SOP is very simple. We storm the ship.
Ah,
That's
okay.
it.
Oh, you know. And we went and saw the higher ups, the bosses, and boss said, "No. Whatever you need, you tell me, but you negotiate, and you get everybody back safely.
That is the priority.
That's the priority." You know. So yeah, we had full support from the government, from the Navy, from the Special Forces, Pascal. If you watch Pascal, the movie, the first part
Yeah.
is
Nice movie.
Yeah.
the first part
The
of the movie is the hijacking.
yes. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's on the ship.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, yeah. I watched it sometime.
yeah. So yeah, so that's about it. We had to improvise because in our planning we didn't see a situation where we didn't realize that they would storm the ship.
I see. As you said it rightly, there are so many organizations that they do not have an action plan or they have not really prepared for such a scenario. A crisis management plan is not in place or it's not practical, right? But we have many viewers who are interested to get started, all right? If you want to give them, like, let's say, 3 advice, all right, this is where you begin. What would those 3 advice look like?
The first advice is the desire to protect your organization. It must come from the top. If you leave it to a crisis manager to prepare documents and all this, that culture doesn't develop. Okay, everybody from top down must realize that the management is serious about having a culture of risk management, crisis management, and business continuity. Okay, so that's the first step. It has to be something that the CEO of the company has to always emphasize. Okay. The second step is, of course, to come up with your risk register and be prepared for every possible scenario. How many companies have a risk register that says if the CEO is hugging a girl in public who is not his wife,
Most importantly,
Oops.
was not his wife.
who's not his wife, and that video goes viral,
What do you do?
like in the Coldplay concert, right?
Okay.
Now, what happened after that?
Mm.
You saw the crisis that developed from that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not always about fire or anything. It can be just reputational damage that can destroy the organization.
Just like that.
Yeah. So, culture, thinking. The thinking in the organization must always be risk averse, right? We don't want to crisis management plans and drills. Be prepared. Develop a sense of confidence that we are ready.
So the 3 advice would be culture, plan, and drill.